What's up, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Splattercat, and we're here at the Nerd Castle playing Project Zomboid numero 12. Well, numero 12? Can I do that? Can I mix languages like that? Is that okay? I mean, you guys feel free to call me out on it. I was gonna say dose, but then I got like halfway through and I was a little confused, and I'm just kind of addled right now. We were gonna loot this house. In the last episode, we had made our way out here after a failed attempt at clearing all of the mobs off of another location. We actually decided to swing out and into this location. It's a farmhouse out on the outskirts of village, a little bit ways up to the northeast, I guess. Unfortunately, there weren't a whole lot of useful things here. We have a lot of paint cans and things of that nature. Not a ton of loot, though, and that really goes along with the overall motif that I've heard, that as you work your way through these locations, they're largely going to be devoid of anything that you want as long as you're not in the city. I have definitely heard that the city is where all the good stuff is, and that when the loot generation comes down the pipe, that's what you can insist on, is that good stuff will be around if you are in the city. But since we're not, we've got to live with the fact that there's not going to be a whole lot of goody-goody num-nums out here. So let's see here. And speaking of num-nums, I'm a big fan of trivia. I don't know if you guys enjoy trivia or not, but I'm going to start sprinkling trivia facts in because that's where I get a lot of my humor from anyways. Now, we've only got 2 things of food on us. Oh, 3. Okay. I believe there's another farmhouse up this way, if memory serves me. And so, yeah, it looks like there's a little trail here. I don't think this farmhouse is going to be as useful, though. This seemed like it was more of a crazy survivalist retreat, like where you would run out to and just kind of hide in the forest with your whiskey and your boomstick and listen to Kenny Chesney or whatever it is. It's a joke. That is a joke, okay? I have nothing against Kenny Chesney. Whew. You always got to cover yourself. You never know. You never know. Because somebody will be like, Kenny Chesney's my hero. And just go on a rampage. And then like drive to my house and give me like a 30-page lecture they typed out on why Kenny Chesney is the greatest thing to ever happen to life itself. It has not happened yet, but I have gotten emails about jokes that I've made. And just fielding those emails, sometimes you try and be very delicate. You have to be very delicate. But as I was saying, I was looking at a list, I guess, of different cereals, like in America, or the U.S., I should say, because saying just there's a lot of Americas out there, but in the United States, there's this big thing. If you're a competitor, or if you're in like a professional sports team, like your goal is to end up like on the front of a cereal box. Well, normally it's like Wheaties or whatever is like the one that they always put like sports heroes on the front of. But some of these sports guys decided that, like, back in the 80s and early 90s, they decided that wasn't good enough. They don't care anymore. They don't want to wait for Wheaties to come around. And so let's check this hut real fast. I got an empty mug there. Got some ramen noodles. But as I was saying, I found a list of, like, the ridiculous cereals that a lot of athletes have dug up. And there was one that was clever. Like, one of them was called Slam Dunkins. And that's the only one that I thought was, like, reasonably clever, where you can tell, like, marketing actually put in the effort. Slam Dunkins worked, and that was for Tim Duncan, who was a basketball player back in the Dizzle. But let's see here. Come on. Come on. There. No, it was empty anyways. What a problem. What a problem child that shelf has decided to be. But anyways, there was one, and I think it was for Jake Plummer, who was like an American football player. So not a football European guy, an American football guy. And his was called Jake's Flakes. And I was like, that is just the worst name ever. Can you imagine the commercial for that cereal? But like, munch down on a big old tin of Jake's Flakes. Jake's Flakes sound delicious. I don't want any of Jake's Flakes in my mouth. If Jake has flakes, he needs to find himself some Head and Shoulders. Stay away from me with that nasty stuff. Don't shake your head over my bowl, man. God, like, I think some people just let their ego, like, override them. You gotta keep yourself realistic all the time. You gotta stay well grounded. You don't want to be one of those people. Got a freebie golf club here. We're gonna grab that. We got ourselves some useful stuff from the other house. I don't see anything, like, intensely amazing here that I'm willing to, like, sacrifice my firstborn child for. Like, maybe my thirdborn child, because, you know, that one, the thirdborn child. Can you tell that I'm the oldest child? Let's see here. Oh, that's still facing that way. Why does this cabinet only have one cabinety part? Let me into your cabinety goodness. No? Alright, well, fine. I don't want it in your cabinets anyways, jerk. Let's use the golf club for now, because I noticed the axe was losing durability, and that's something I don't want to fiddle with fate there. Why is this happening to me? Hold on, why is that still weighing me down? That's weird. We didn't lose any weight for putting a 4-pound axe in our duffel bag. I'm confused. Are you working now? Okay, good. Fantastic. Can we check these drums? No. Can't check the drums, unfortunately, so this looks more like Yeah, I don't... Somebody's workshop or something in their little tiny survival hut. Did it have a toilet? Survival hut without a toilet. I don't know what it is about people in Knox County. Oh, he's got an outhouse. Lovely. And what appears to be a microwave outside. Okay. Well, creative placement of the outhouse, but I guess that works. Let's go ahead and head back to our original home. That's what we're going to try. We're going to waddle our way back over there. And hopefully we'll keep ourselves more or less safe. My pinky's feeling a little bit better. I busted my finger in my sleep. If you guys missed the last episode, I was sleeping. I like broke my finger or sprained it or something in my sleep. It's not bent all weird. Like I kind of gave it a little pop twist type deal, and it seems to have worked out okay. The stiffness is kind of going away, so I'm glad I didn't go to a doctor because that would have been an ordeal. Basically, the way it works for me is because I'm a college student, I don't have like insurance, and so when you go to the doctor, they're like, give us all your money. And I'm like, well, I have like 6 money, so what does that get me? And they basically tell you that they're not even qualified to give you a Band-Aid for 6 money. They're like, well, 6 is pretty cool, but 427 sounds a little better. At which point my jaw drops to the floor and I have to get my eyebrows back from the back of my head and say, $400 for a Band-Aid, man. Like, well, it's an expensive Band-Aid. Band-Aid better have diamonds and gold on it for that price. God, thing better be attached to a bling chain. So I wish there was some way that I could operate this field. Just take all this, because this looks like goody goodness right here. I remember one time when I was a little kid, there was these grain looking things. You know how on the front of the front of bread bags they always put that grain symbol, the golden grain that they like make the bread out of, or conceivably they want you to believe they make the bread out of that. I think it's mostly like preservatives and things, but in any case, they want you to believe it's made out of that crazy grain stuff. And I found a weed when I was a little kid that looked just like it. And I brought it home to my mom, and I was like, make bread out of this. And she was like, okay. And then just like threw it away when I wasn't looking, which is kind of humorous. I think we came up through this way. Looks about right. Yeah, let's go ahead and swing up through here. And the second we make it back to the road, we are unarmed. We are woefully unarmed. We did find a crowbar, though, which is pretty sweet. I really just kind of want to go Gordon Freeman on these. That's the password to my router right now. I don't think you guys are going to steal my internet. I mean, if you magically manage to, good on you, because that would be fairly incredible. I would be impressed. I wouldn't even be mad. I would just be impressed. But if you're planning on stealing my internet, you know, my router password is Gordon Freeman. He's one of my favorite characters because we share a last name. My last name is Freeman as well. And so all through high school was when the original Half-Life was out. Everybody's like, follow the Freeman, and they just thought it was hilarious when I would walk down the halls to follow me and say that. People thought it was just it was the joke that kept on giving. It was like farting. It just never stopped being funny to some people. So let's go ahead and I think right here, I don't know what's down that road. It clearly says to stop, which I am not going to do. That sign is not giving good advice right now. It is giving very poor advice. Stopping is the last thing you want to do with a zombie horde potentially at every turn. I'm going to move a little bit slower, though, because we're back into the realm of our Zeddy Buddies. That'd be a pretty sweet name for a cereal. Back on the cereal thing, Zeddy Buddies, like they would be little red, like Chex Mix type deals, but then the insides, they would have like green colored chocolate or something. Yeah, I would eat it. That sounds like something the Misfits would market. I wasn't a big Misfits fan. I don't know if there's Misfits fans out there. I was a really big fan of the Misfits when Michael Graves was singing for them. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever, because Michael Graves is a great singer, but everybody else that they've had as a singer I just haven't been a fan of, and I feel like I run into contention about that with people a lot. Like when I say Michael Graves is my favorite singer in the Misfits, people just like lose their minds. And so it also oh god, that's a lot of zombies. Hello, zombies. Let's go ahead and swing wide. We're not going to swing low, because that might be misinterpreted and make me look bad, but we are going to swing wide. So let's see what we can get done here. And you'll forgive me for a moment as I run off my cat. She's attempting to invade my space right now. She's looking rather mischievous. Mischievous, I guess. I think if we lose them through the trees down in here, we should be okay. I just fed her, so she's all full of energy and just feeling rambunctious. She's running around the house annihilating stuff. One of my cats is declawed and the other isn't. And the one I didn't declaw the cat. I know some people have problems with declawing the cat. I adopted him that way. He was already declawed, so it's not my fault. Somebody else was a jerk. But let's see here. I don't know if that's like a thing in other areas. Like, people go on a rampage about declawing cats around here. Like, when you adopt an animal, you're not allowed to adopt it if you're going to declaw it. They make you sign like a little legal waiver. Just all kinds of stuff like that. Let's dump off some of the weapons upstairs before I get off on a tangent talking about my cat. Let's see here. Nobody wants to hear about my cat. I have to remind myself of that sometimes because I think cat owners, like, I'm a cat owner. I think cat owners get a little crazy sometimes, and we start to think that, like, everybody wants to hear about your animal. And I think it's like other people's babies. You really just don't want to hear about them. You're really not concerned. And I have to remind myself of that fact fairly frequently. Go away, Axe. I hate you. Go away. I command you. Did that work? Or did it put it in... Okay. I am commanding you, Axe, to go away. I know this cabinet isn't full. It's doing that thing again where it won't let me, like, drag and drop things. I'm really hoping that this problem does not repeat itself too frequently. I think we should probably go out and dish out a little pain to some zombies. They're pretty well gathered in this area, though, so I really don't want to stir up the horde overall. I feel like that might put me in a compromising position. I don't really... God, I don't really know. Let's go ahead. Let's store the food for the time being. We'll throw the ramen noodles in there. We'll throw the can of soup in there. We have can openers, everything we're going to need like that. We'll throw the books back on the shelf over here, I think is where I had books. Yes? Well, I had some books. We're getting a pretty good collection here. There we go. And we'll throw the newspaper on there. We'll throw the other water bottle in the fridge as well. I know you guys probably aren't intensely stimulated by the fact that I'm just like sifting items around, but it is sort of a major part of the game. You end up doing it a lot. Organization is key. Because if you can't find the things you want to get your hands on, the whole thing just degenerates. Now, I don't really think we're going to use the crowbar. Oh, maybe we need the crowbar to take boards off of windows. I didn't think about that. The crowbar is a new item, so I don't know if I should use it as a weapon. I'm feeling doubtful that I should ever use my axe as a weapon again. I don't think that's a good choice. I'll bring some of the golf... Yeah, I'll bring a golf club. Let's bring a golf club along with us. We'll practice our short game on some of these jerks. See if we can get a little bit of pain done. Just put them on the pain train to nowhere. There we go. Our golf club looks remarkably like a baseball bat. I would love to see a cricket bat get put in the game just for the reference to Shaun of the Dead. I'm going to take a quick look around. Let's make sure... Okay, so we... God, the golf club is just not doing it for me. So let's take off and run away here. I'm going to try and lead them... It's getting kind of close to nightfall, so I don't want to get involved in too many... issues here. I don't want to turn this into a giant Fight Night 2013 situation. Yeah, the golf club is just not bringing it home. I guess her swing is not so good. She hasn't figured out how to land the head quite properly yet. Let's take a look at our stats and figure out what we can upgrade, though, while we're evading this little group of zombies. We can upgrade blunt. We've got 5 skill points available, and there's nothing to spend them on. We haven't actually earned enough XP in any other categories. So upgrading blunt for the time being is going to be what I'm going to stick to, because we can definitely use the extra damage if at all possible. Hey, slow down, Speedy. There we go. Cracked out zombies on meth or something, just ridiculously tweaking. Oh my. So this is a terrible weapon. This is very much a makeshift. I actually think I have better luck using... Yeah, I'm actually fairly positive that I have better luck using the kitchen knife, actually. Let's see if I can jump through this window really quickly. Worst case scenario, they'll start tapping on the house, and I'll come up and deal with them with a baseball bat. Let's go ahead and get rid of this golf club. That was a terrible idea. This thing's just awful. This thing is an embarrassment. And it's already almost broken. That really is a last resort type weapon. So what did we learn? Let's go ahead and take the baseball bat. I was trying to save it for another time. I might put nails in it. I don't know. We'll equip it as a primary. The nail bat seemed to do a really good job. Are you out here or are you on my windows? Where is he at? I don't see him anywhere. Maybe this side? No? Where is this little bugger? Is he inside, baby? Let's have a look. Where is this guy? Come here, you schmuck. It's really loud when I'm walking by right here, so... Oh, maybe he's tapping on the window of this building. That might be it. Okay. Alright, so I think we're about stacked for the night. Let me eat another bag of chips. Hey, there he is. Took him out with one swing. That was a mighty fine. That was amazing. I'm impressed. So let's go ahead and, now that we've dealt with our overall zombie issue, let me see if I can land myself anything else here. I suppose we'll turn this into a nail bat. I don't think that the nail bat actually lowers the durability. I was sort of worried about it, but let's make a nail bat before morning, I guess, because the nail bat, it did really well by us. It really did. So there we go. So there is the nailed bat. Our bat has been thoroughly nailed. He is now self-actualized. He feels better about his life. He doesn't feel quite so alone, although he definitely doesn't want to stay for brunch. Let's head on upstairs and we'll sleep for the night, and then we'll figure out what our next mission's going to be. I may just run around and get myself into general disarray for the time being. I don't really have anything on the horizon. I wanted to check that other farmhouse, but that didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. Sleep for the eve here, and then really hope that nobody breaks in during the course of the night. I'm trying to be a little bit more quiet during this episode because there do seem to be a lot of comings and goings, and I want to be aware of them all, so being silent in many cases is the only way to catch an indicator of what's going on around your place. Let's search that guy we killed on the floor here. We got a couple of zombies just kind of laid out. He got a pencil. He's a little bit of a scholar. He considered himself a writer. Might have had an alcoholism problem, but we still loved him anyways. His sci-fi novels will be appreciated. Oh, I didn't equip my bat. Hold on here. There we go. And my pop bottle is empty. And down you go. Nothing on her either. And so we have a bunch of zombies that have nothing but the clothes on their back, nothing in their little pockets, no lint, not even lint, which is pretty amazing because the amount of lint that I remove from my belongings is ridiculous. See, the water seems like it's back on now, but it'll only let me refill once a day. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. It's a confusing situation, but I am going to drink while I can. You may as well. And let's think about where we want to go with this. So I think I may revisit... I don't think I hit this house over here. And let's see if we can work, or at least weasel our way into the house across the street, because... Actually, never mind. I think I did hit that one. I'm having trouble remembering. I'm more or less sure that this entire suburb is probably tapped out. I would like to head into the city a little bit, but the city's so dangerous that all I get is terrible feelings every time I try it. So let's make a little bit of noise, since we're going to attract the horde anyways. We may as well consider... Oh, that was a close call. I'm not happy about that one. That was a little terrifying. Wedding rings and whatnot. I thought somebody over here had like a bat or something of that nature. I may be completely and totally wrong, though. Sometimes I feel like no matter how many of these guys I kill, you just can't kill enough of them. Thus the fun of zombies, I guess. Got like a locket here. We got an empty notebook. I'll take that. A tote bag. Not quite as useful. Not what I was really considering on the loot list. Definitely looking for weapons at this point since we're on our last bat. There's a magazine on him. Hopefully one of a tasteful nature. Not of a tacky or otherwise pornographic syndication, because... Zombies, we gotta clean up zombie culture. Zombie culture has been committed to smut and just general, just nastiness. Zombies are sick, sick individuals. You guys have no idea. Once you go zombie, you never go back. Take him out. I'll just kind of walk backwards while swinging at these guys. I should be doing this as a last resort, but because we need new weapons and baseball bats and things tend to drop off zombies, I am gonna keep an eye out. So... Beta blocker, so he's got antidepressants. We'll definitely take those. We'll take the pencil. We are dripping wet at the moment, so we should probably find ourselves a little bit of shelter. Step lightly here for a moment. 9mm rounds, I will definitely take all of those. Painkillers, we'll take those as well. These zombies seem to have a plethora of things that we can get our hands on. A cornucopia of random goods, I guess. Oh, a free axe. Very, very nice. I don't know why that zombie was wandering around with an axe, but I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to say thank you, zombie, for your axe. and I shall take it in good faith. You shall never see me again on your block because you have rewarded me well for becoming your death friend. Because only death friends go through each other's pockets. Real friends, not so much. Death friends, definitely. Let's see here. Nothing in there. We can get in the Waffle House for the time being. There we go. So that zombie's down. I hear a lot of zombies. That could potentially be a problem. But we're going to hang out inside for a little bit, see if we can dry ourselves off a tad. Worst case scenario is we make a ridiculously amazing Indiana Jones escape. Drink from there real fast, get ourselves squared away. Oh, I don't have any food. Well, that's a bit of a Debbie Downer. Get some seeds. I guess I'll take those. I think I looted this place fairly efficiently beforehand, but just in case there's any random nibbles laying around, like a ramen packet or anything of that nature. Some of the things that I sometimes leave behind. There's nothing in the buffet, in the buffet line. I don't even know if there's anything lootable in here. We kind of backed off this room a little bit earlier because we didn't want to risk attracting too much attention. Yeah, I don't see anything of use here. So let's go ahead and we're going to head out the front of the Waffle House and really, really hope there's not too many ridiculous problems out here. We need to find ourselves some food, though. We're only peckish. We're not ridiculously hungry right now, but we could use some food. We could definitely have a bite to eat. We're not going to hope for lobster, you know, because wish in one hand. But if we can find anything to fill our bellies with, I think that's going to help us out a tad. So following this road to the southwest, I believe you'll come across other stuff. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is where we found that Quickie Mart to begin with. Oh, and that one's got a broken window, so we've got an easy in right there. Let's be very careful, though. We want to sneak all the way in here. Unwanted attention is what we would love to avoid. Alright, so let's check this trash can really quickly. Nothing in the cabinets. There are cabinets here, though, so maybe we'll find some 10mm rounds, okay, or 9mm rounds in a quantity of 10. There we go. I can say this, I swear. A bunch of ovens and things which are going to be largely useless to us. A soda machine, which could be useful. Rotten carrots, orange soda, a little bit of butter. We will grab the butter and eat it, I guess. We just ate a stick of butter. That is super, super gnarly. I do not envy this individual at all. That's pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal. I don't know if I could get an entire stick of butter down without gagging. It says that it raises our unhappiness, but I get the feeling we're doing pretty well at the moment on happiness. I haven't seen any problems there, and we have antidepressants anyway, so get as depressed as you want, my friend. Get as depressed as you want. We have an orange soda, which I'm going to save for later. We'll throw that over there. Take all the packets that we've been picking up because we are going to start farming later on down the road. I don't know how much of a racket it's going to make when I break this window, which is my plan at the moment. Let's grab these two right here. I don't see anything off in those directions. Nothing behind me either. There's the distinct possibility that all the racket that we made down below here, which was across the street when we had the shotgun, it was across the street from this location, so we may have drawn off a reasonably decent proportion of all the guys that were standing around here. And that may work to our favor at this point, which is really the only thing that has worked out for us as of yet. But alright, so that window's open, and now we're just going to stand here and wait and see what happens. Windows breaking tend to be pretty loud, so we may get a couple of stragglers. The possibility of a few visitors is fairly high from any direction, so alright, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and jump through. Hopefully we don't cut ourselves on the counters here. And then we'll see what goodies we can grab out of this location. Worst case scenario, to make more room, we'll make multiple runs. But for now, got a stick of butter. I will definitely grab that. Beef jerky, we'll take that as well. 2 more butter sticks, we'll grab all of those. Rotten peas, rotten radishes, rotten apples, lots of rotten foodies. Even more in this one right here, but the ice cream surprisingly doesn't go bad, so we are going to take the ice cream and we'll just keep an eye on it. We'll try and eat that up front in the next little bit just to make sure that we don't waste it. And then this final cabinet right here, 3 bags of chips and a orange soda, which is actually really good. So this is going to be a reasonable supply location. I think I'm willing to bet that all of these cabinets over here are not going to be completely looted. We may end up with a reasonably sized supply of food from this location, which is very, very, very good because food and water are the 2 things that I'm a little concerned about at the moment. We got to be careful when we're standing by the windows that we don't draw any undue attention. We got some entertainment magazines on that rack, an orange soda on here, but I don't think I'm going to have the carrying capacity to use it. A back door that looks like it's blocked by those. I don't know. Maybe they were just kind of, that's a door that never gets used. We've had those at a couple of my jobs. Just doors that don't get used. They just kind of sit there. And then an employee turlet in the back. Okay. And then it looks like, oh, another baseball bat. So yeah, we're going to want to make another run out. A shotgun. Okay. We're definitely going to want to make a final run out here. 2 shotguns. 2 shotguns, a number of orange sodas, a baseball bat. This location is definitely primed. Let's go ahead and we're going to head back to our house right now. I think that's about all we're going to get done for the course of this episode. I'm going to try and make it back home without any trouble. Hopefully that works out in the long run. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for another thrilling, at least it was for me, episode of Project Zomboid. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to keep this series going as long as possible because it's a great game. This is a fun game. It really is. It's a fun game to LP, to be honest, as well. It easily lends itself to narration. That's the way that I would best describe it to people, is it's easy to narrate what's going on in this game without ultimately getting lost and stumbling over your words, because there's so many things that you always have to be focusing on. And while largely the whole thing is a scavenging fest can be pretty fun. So, you know, I'm not going to disparage it for what it is. This is the kind of game that I have a lot of fun with. I have the same amount of fun with DayZ or Days or whatever you want to call it. Whatever pronunciation you want to assign to that game. I had been thinking about doing an LP of Days. I'm terrible at it though. Like, I am just so ridiculously awful at Days. Hilarity, I don't know if hilarity will ensue. There may be quite a bit of face palming though. Would be the first thing that I would say is probably going to show up during the course of a Days LP in my case. Plus, it's a little overdone. There's a lot of Days LPs out there, but, you know, if you're having fun with it, why not do it? Hopefully we can... Oh, no. That was a bunch of zombies up and over there. Let's duck through a window if we can. Oh, we've already ducked through it. Okay, so straight through the window. Oh, no, this is the house we got stuck in the second episode or whatever. Yeah, we don't want that. That's all bad. This is the window that I wanted. There we go. We'll jump through that one and then out the other side. Luckily, zombies are not so good at their detective work. They don't do very well at investigative type endeavors. They definitely don't have their Donnie Brasco going on. And so here we are back in our house. I will see you guys next time. My name is Splattercat, and take care out there, everybody.